Okay, so welcome back, and hope you enjoyed Doune Castle. We've got, we're just going to be driving about 30 minutes now. We're going to cross into the Highlands, and we're going to take a stop at a beautiful Highland loch or lake called Loch Lubnaig. We'll take a stop, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, just to enjoy the views. There are, if you've missed the restrooms there are restrooms at the next stop, and an opportunity to grab perhaps a quick coffee as well, if you've not had a chance to get one this morning. And then we'll continue our way up into the kind of West Highlands sort of proper. But we're just about to drive through the actual town of Doune, and the town of Doune is quite typical of, this town's quite typical of the kind of historic, what we would call market towns in lowland Scotland. So market town, or a market town, the type of market town that you'd have all along this Highland lowland border between these two parts of Scotland. Land use very different from in the Highlands and from the lowlands as a result of the difference in geology and the difference in soil. And what you'll see in the areas that we're going to today, there's not much growing of crops going on. Well, you wouldn't necessarily get it at this time of year anyway, but you'll see that the land that is used for agriculture in the Highlands is used for livestock, grazing of cattle and sheep. This is not land that you can grow crops for human consumption on. So this cross here, this is not a cross, but what we'll call a market cross or a market cross. This signifies that this is a market town, a town that's got a licence to have local markets. That's why it's got a lion at the top of it. If you find one of these market crosses that's got a unicorn at the top, then it means it's a royal borough, and that means that they have a licence from the monarchy to hold international markets, so people can come internationally and trade. But this was a local market town, and we've got quite a few passengers on board today from the United States of America. And this town, Doune, is a town that has quite a significant connection to your country that you might not be aware of. And it's quite an important one. So, despite being a busy little market town for many, many years, back in the 1600s, there was a local blacksmith in the town of Doune, called Thomas Cadell, and he diversified away from his usual blacksmithing work into the production of firearms, in particular flintlock pistols, and these were what became known as Doune Pistols. So Thomas Cadell set up shop. These pistols were very, very popular. That kick-started basically a gun industry in the town. More gunsmiths came and set up, and Doune Pistols became very, very famous. Beautiful weapons, obviously quite primitive, flintlock pistols, but beautifully engraved and decorated with very intricate metalwork, artisanship, really stunning items. There's actually a heritage centre in the town that has a nice collection of them. And Doune Pistols had a very distinctive looking kind of trigger system, and also a very distinctive butt on the end of the gun, what was known as a scroll butt. So if you imagine a flintlock pistol, you're going to get one shot off with that, and if you happen to miss the guy, then you're out of bullets, you're not going to have time to reload. So the idea was you turn it round and you wallop them on the head with the back of the gun. And so this kind of scroll butt was kind of like the end of a mace. And the idea was to, if you missed, to try and do what you need to do with it, using the kind of the weapon as a kind of club. And these Doune Pistols were highly sought after, and indeed still are. Gun collectors go kind of mad for them, and the kind of things that you'd find in museums. They can change hands for significant kind of money. And back in the 16 and 1700s, if you were a Highland clan chieftain, like the Duke of Argyll perhaps, or you were a lowland aristocrat, or you were maybe a military officer from a wealthy family, a second son, not likely to inherit anything, so you have to go off and seek your own fortunes throughout the empire. Well, if you were one of these well-heeled people, then you would want a set of Doune Pistols strapped to your waist, because they would mark you out not only as a man of action, but someone of style and sophistication and taste and wealth and what have you. But the reason it's significant